If you have been struggling with your energy levels and finding the motivation to stay consistent with a movement routine, it's okay. Today, we are actually going to talk about three simple tips to help you start exercising more so that you can start boosting your energy and feeling better without feeling like there's just no time to work out. Are you ready to stop the chaos, the stress, the overwhelm that's filling your life? I'm Renae Matt, and together you and I are going to build simple routines that are going to change your life. When you put these habits into practice, you're going to be able to organize your life in a way where you can be there for your family, pay off your debt, save money, your house can stay organized, you don't have to stress about what's for dinner, and you still get time for yourself. So without further ado, let's get started. Welcome to the Routine Advantage Podcast. I have a little bit of a raspy voice. I kind of lost my voice this weekend. We went to a mud girl run. I did it with my sisters and some friends. And my goodness, if you ever have the chance to do a mud run, they are so fun. Basically, it was a 5K that had, I think it was 17 or 18 different obstacles throughout the whole course. And some of them were strength obstacles, some of them were balance, some of them were just plain muddy and slippery, and it was teamwork, and oh my gosh, it was so fun. So if you ever have that whoa, if you ever have the chance to do that, I highly recommend it. It was super fun. But during that time, leading up to it, we have been so busy with lots of things going on. We've had a lot of work things and personal things going on. We've got a lot of health things going on. So it has been a very crazy packed schedule for several weeks now, actually the last couple of months. But one thing that we noticed was in the recent weeks, we have had a lot of time being dedicated to other things, and we haven't gone to the gym as much. And we had a full, I think it was like a week and a half straight where we didn't go to the gym at all. It might have even been a full 2 weeks where we didn't go to the gym at all, or maybe we went like once or twice in there. And by the time we got to the end of it, Tony and I both just felt so lousy, and we were so needing to get back to the gym because we wanted to have um that feeling of health again. Like working out consistently makes you feel so much better. And it doesn't even necessarily have to be the weight on the scale that's changing. It's your body that feels stronger, you feel more energetic. There's just a lot of really positive things when you are working out consistently. And when we went through, because we have been working out consistently for such a long period of time now, that when we skipped that time and we weren't doing anything, we felt it like big time. And we were still doing the walks with our dog and those types of things, but it wasn't like the extra things. He likes running. I have been lifting weights for several months now and I love it. And I would do different exercises prior to that. I was doing like home workouts, and I was doing the cardio on the treadmill at the gym. Not a huge fan of that, but I like the weights. I like the strength training. And so we got away from it and we needed to get back into it. And it kind of brought me to this thought where I wanted to bring this to the podcast because if you are feeling like you have those low energy levels, like you aren't feeling like you're motivated enough to go work out, to give you some encouragement that once you start the habit, you will feel so much better. But also to let you know, like, you don't have to just be going to the gym to get your exercise in and to get that movement in. And one of the things that I recently started doing was I wanted to add more exercise throughout the day. I'm very sedentary throughout the day because I work from home. So the only movement throughout the day really is because I go for my walk in the morning And then throughout the day, it's just kind of upstairs, downstairs, go down to the basement to do the laundry, come back up, I'll do my home routine, I'll go back up to the desk, and it's a lot of sitting or being very non-active within our house. So I wanted to bring more movement throughout the day. And one of the things that was doing last week was an evening walk after dinner. And it brought me back to this these memories of growing up. I remember my mom always wanting to do evening walks, and we would have dinner and then clean up, and we lived on a gravel road. I grew up on a gravel road, and we would walk there was like exactly 1 mile to the first stop sign. So we would walk that and then go back, and that was a 2-mile walk. And I remember doing this, and we had gorgeous sunsets at that house. So we would end up walking and the sun would be setting, and it was so pretty and calm and relaxing. And that is what we did pretty often growing up. And so when I added some evening walks after dinner last week to our routine, it was just, Hank, our dog, and I that went out, and we had these evening walks, and it just was so peaceful that it brought me back to those memories of growing up and having those evening walks, and I was thinking to myself, like, "Why don't I do this more often? It feels so good," rather than curling up on the couch and doing shows or just kind of being lazy at the end of the night after a busy day to just go for a walk. And I realize it's because that's not what you really want to do when you have no motivation and no energy. Going out for a walk does not sound very fun, but that really is probably exactly what you need at the time. And I encourage you to try it and just to go out and do something different and switch up your routine a little bit just to get that extra movement in. So when I was thinking about this, I wanted to bring you like three very, very simple tips to encourage you to look at what your movement routine is and see if you can make some tweaks to that and really improve it so that you feel better. And you can even bring your kids into that. You can bring your spouse into that. You can bring your animals, your your dog. You can bring them all into these activities because it doesn't just have to be going to the gym. And so the first tip is to brainstorm a list of movement activities that you enjoy. And it's as simple as that. It's just writing down different things that you could do that offer movement to help you boost that energy. So it does not have to be going to the gym, but it can be. It could be lifting weights, it could be going for a walk, it could be going for a run, maybe it's a bike ride, but maybe it's something that doesn't feel as exercisey. Maybe it's something more like going and playing a sport or going and playing ball with kids or with just friends, like going to a sand volleyball court, or maybe it is doing some sort of, tennis or racquetball court around your area. You could be doing lawn lawn care or going swimming, like all these different like activities that you could bring into your day or into your week. It doesn't have to be the same thing every day, but just start brainstorming a list of activities that you really enjoy that also give you some movement or exercise within that activity, just so you have a big list of things you enjoy that you can pull from when you know that you want some movement, but you don't necessarily have time to have a structured exercise routine because these things pulled in randomly are better than nothing. And the tip number two is to actually set a goal. And this could be like stretching 10 minutes a day. This could be, wanting to go to the gym 4 times a week. It could also be knowing that you want to go outside and play with your kids or your animals or do something outdoors for an hour every day. It could also just be having a tracker on your wrist and making sure you hit 10,000 steps a day. Whatever you want your goal to be, that's totally up to you. But having a goal helps to actually make it so that you reach it. Because if you don't have a goal, then you don't know what you're trying to do. And it's a little bit harder to stick to the plan when you don't have it planned out. So setting a goal is really important. And tip number 3 is to actually take time to schedule in your daily activity ahead of time. Because when we don't do that, it's a lot easier to let other errands fill your day or to default to scrolling on our phones or just to think about it and say, okay, I'm really tired. I'm just going to curl up or do whatever I need to do, and I'm not going to do that. And you end up skipping that when that's really what your body needs. So if you schedule in that activity, you could even just plug in a chunk of time that has, the actual activity that you're going to do, and you can switch it up, pull it from your brainstormed list of activities, or you could even plug in just the time and know that at that time in the day, you're going to do what feels best or what comes up or what flows best that day based on what's going on around you. You can do it however you want, but scheduling it in ahead of time works really, really well. And say you want to go on a bike ride, don't just think about going for a bike ride and then pushing it off and pushing it off and pushing it off. Look at your calendar and see what works best. And say Thursday night is an open evening and you're going to go for a 2-hour bike ride before dinner or after dinner, or maybe it's just a 10-minute bike ride after dinner. Whatever works best for your schedule, plug it in, and then you're going to have a better chance of sticking to it because it's already planned out ahead of time. And when that time comes, you know to just do it rather than trying to muster up the motivation to make the decision at that moment. You've already made the decision. Now all you have to do is follow through. So that has been super helpful for me, but having these little pockets of extra activities throughout the day that aren't just gym activities have been super helpful. And I have felt so much better while doing these additional things because it does boost your mood, it boosts your energy, and it just makes you feel so much healthier. And it's really important that we do that for ourselves and for our families. And if you have kids, they're watching you too. So, um, modeling that for them is also really important. So, a really quick recap of those 3 things that you can do. And before I recap them, actually, I just want to remind you also to be flexible when you're scheduling these things in too, because life happens and a lot of times we just have to do what we can. So this episode is not about making you feel bad if you're not exercising. That's not what it's intended to do at all. It's to encourage you to start thinking outside the box. And if you don't feel like you have time to dedicate to a gym routine, you have other options to pull into your day that you can still feel really good while having these extra activities. But you can also be flexible with your schedule and with life and still make time for this, even if you don't have that structured gym routine. So, okay, we'll recap those 3 things. Number 1 is to brainstorm your list of movement activities that you enjoy. Number 2 is to set your goal. And number 3 is to schedule that daily activity ahead of time so you don't have to make the decision at that moment. It's already scheduled and you can just go ahead and follow through with that. So, hopefully, this was helpful and you enjoy that next evening walk if that's what you're doing or whatever activity you're enjoying. And I would love if you come and tell us what your favorite activities are in our Facebook community. I would love to hear it. And then we can kind of bounce ideas off of each other too to see what activities other people are enjoying that maybe we haven't thought of yet. So, hopefully you will come and join us in there. The link is in the show notes and you can check that out. But I hope you enjoyed this episode and I will see you on the next one. Did you love that episode or learn something useful? If so, would you do me a huge favor? My goal is to grow this podcast and help as many women as I can break free from the overwhelm so they can truly enjoy their life. The best way for me to do this is for you to leave a 5-star written review on your podcast app and to share this episode with a friend or in your Instagram stories. I appreciate you being here. I hope you have a wonderful day and I will see you on the next episode. Take care.